Hello and welcome to episode 3 of our Timberborn Emberpelts hard mode playthrough here in cycle 3, day 7. Got a 5-day drought, no biggie, early game, but we still have plenty of stuff to take care of if we're going to stand a chance at surviving in hard mode, because remember, it's kind of merciless about drought length a little faster than I think we care to remember. So we're going to get right on into it. We are in the process of building additional storage for our water right now, as you can see right here. These are set up, ready to go, just as soon as we have logs, which thankfully at the end of last episode, we finally got across the river here. These are marked for cutting, so all we're waiting on now is for lumberjacks to come in here, so we do have to free our beavers from other pursuits so they can come take care of that. So we got John Morrow over here planting some trees. It is very likely that this water will go away at some point in the near future. So I would like for all of these to be planted, but we do have 2 of these lumberjack flags here set to do pine trees. I think we're going to want to focus on these oaks for right now. Even though there's nobody in here anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause these, and those are paused as well. We have this gatherer flag that is about to be paused. Yeah, see, here goes all this water. So that's exactly why I wanted this to get planted, because the trees aren't going to die in the next 4.5, 5, 6 days. But if they are planted, then they're that much closer to being able to be cut down for wood whenever they eventually grow. And since our water is currently full, I am going to pause a couple of these water pumps. And then, of course, we're going to pause the lumber mill because, well, there's no reason to keep that going as it is. And we should see, yeah, okay. We got 3 out of the 4 lumberjack flags ready to go, get some trees cut down, and then we can have additional tanks put in and continue building other stuff. So, since we do have 3 beavers working here in the farmhouse, as requested in the comments, we are going to continue growing some more food here. Corn is a great early game thing because, remember, all it has to have to be processed is a grill, which we currently have. And we can go ahead and build as soon as, well, we have it unlocked. We don't have it yet because we haven't built it. We have to have clay. So to get to clay, we have to have the clay pit. This is one of the unique things in the Emberpelts faction. So once we get to 100 science, we can do that. We just don't currently have 10 planks. And this is not currently rotating, so tough luck. There's no way we're going to be able to have planks until the next cycle starts. So we'll keep that in the back of our mind, but we can still plant corn. We have plenty of additional space in which to plant and grow corn. And I think I'm going to go ahead and reroute this path. No, that's the wrong. That's also the wrong one. There we go. Just cut this off right here because we have all this green space that we really, really want to take good advantage of. So we'll just do that. Then we have space over here as well. Remember that some of these foods can actually be consumed raw, like the radishes and the tomatoes. And of course, the rest of these things require processing. So keeping the radishes there, keeping the tomatoes there, of course tomatoes here as well, is going to be a very smart thing for us to do. Otherwise, until we have processing all figured out, I'm just going to keep growing more corn. It's a very, very good crop for us to be focusing on. And the trees are being cut down nicely here. We also did get a comment saying that we should put in another forester on this side, and I think that is a fantastic idea. As soon as we have planks to do it that we don't need for other stuff, then yeah, we'll do that. But our main goal, long term, for the viability of the rest of this playthrough, should be to focus on getting clean water through here. Closest clean water to us, well, currently there's none because it's a drought, but this right here, these 3 water sources, total combined strength of 7, is the closest clean water, unless I've majorly messed something up in my remembrance. So as you can see, it's a really long way. And it's going to take us a very, very long time to get there. We do also have, if we come over... Oh, actually, this is clean water in here, too, but that's even further. Then we have this massive, massive line of water sources that are going to be putting out some lovely clean water. But all of that is, oh, I don't even know, 10 cycles at least away, unless we just want to rush it and, you know, risk losing because we killed our beavers with our misplaced zeal to get clean water. What we can do is we can kind of, I don't want to say game the system because that implies some sort of dishonest play. We can utilize the things that the game allows us to do in such a way to create advantageous situations. Like, for example, we've got, also we have automated water pumps in the Emberpelts mod, which is fantastic. We're going to use those. I don't think I talked about that before. But we can take bad water pumps, and we can have those running in the same reservoir as our drinking water pumps, which in a normal playthrough would be completely impossible because nobody's going to have that. But in this map, it's going to basically be impossible for us to have completely clean water. So at some point, maybe a little bit earlier than we normally would, we're going to want to start pumping bad water, not even necessarily to use it, just to lower the concentration here so that we have more irrigation area. What we can also do, and we probably should do sooner rather than later, is we can make irrigation stations with our levees and water dumps, or fluid dumps, I guess is the actual name. And maybe we should do those before we do bad water, because honestly it's going to be a really long time before we have anything completely clean ready to go. Because this current concentration is quite dirty. It's a lot dirtier than you think it is. And that's why the irrigation only goes out, 6-7 tiles in most places. And as we continue pumping water out of this, the concentration for bad water is only going to get higher. So there's a bunch of stuff we need to do to fix this, and we're going to keep addressing it as we go on. But the easiest way, short term, for us to, I guess, kind of solve that problem with regard to the crops is just to put a fluid dump in our little 3x3 thing of levee reservoir creation and rely on that to grow food. Because we're going to have to keep pumping. Yes, long term, I do want to completely close this little horseshoe area off, as a bunch of you have suggested, and then rely on fluid dumps to put only clean water in here. But also, keep in mind that's going to cause a lot of evaporation, and right now we're just not in a position for that to make sense. Early game, where we are right now with what little we have unlocked, this is perfectly fine. It's going to be okay. Long term, though, I do like the idea of this still being irrigation. We just, of course, have to manage it better. And we have to make sure that we have more water available to pump in the first place. Because remember, it's hard mode. And these guys here are going to have really low productivity because there's so much pollution in the water. So we're going to need so many more water pumps than you ever thought possible. But remember, we also have the secret weapon. Well, it's not really a secret, but the press here in the Emberpelts mod makes all sorts of liquids the beavers can consume. It's not just for canola oil. So getting this unlocked honestly might need to be a little bit of a bigger priority than a bunch of other stuff, including the even the stairs. I know that sounds insane, but hear me out. It's only 120 science, and it doesn't need metal. It just needs a power source. So if we had 120 science for the press, and then we come over here, even if we just built the large power wheel, which I guess we could maybe formally name at some point. I've seen a couple of good suggestions. But if you have something that we want to name this, please do not just steal whatever RCE calls it. We can do our own thing. But if you want to have a fun name for this, let me know. Let me know. We might pick one of those. But if we get to a point where we have 100 logs, then all right, cool. We'll build. I always call it the Wheel of Suffering, but I don't know if that's a great name for it. And then we can power some presses, and we can get a whole bunch of stuff taken care of. Or if we want to invest more science, then you just have it kind of intermittently going with a windmill. But, you know, all that stuff just takes time. We are going to be focusing on that. Don't worry. And then remember, we have engines. We have 3 engines with the Emberpelts faction mod. We have the small engine that takes 200 science and uses clay. And that's a very reliable power. One of these will power 5 presses, because the press only requires 50 HP. So I personally think this is the better option to go with, but it does require a lot of science investment which is not something we really have the means to do right now. At some point in the future, yeah, probably before too long. But that's 200 science for that. Plus, we've got the 100 science for the clay pit, so we're at 300 plus the 120 for the press. That's 420 science, which that's a lot of science. We have less than 100 right now. But the clay pit is also going to be something that's necessary for the other things we want to build, like we talked about before. So, you know, everything is just going to have to happen in time. Like we always say, it's just the way it goes. So, all of that being said, there's not a ton that we can do immediately to make this a better situation, short of just trying to optimize exactly what we've got going on. We have pretty decent storage for a lot of our food items. We don't have storage for corn, which we really, really need to fix. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a little storage, well, a medium storage for corn here. And then we can start building the grill. We can't use it yet because we don't have the clay to finish building it, but we want to make sure that we are going to be in a good spot whenever we have that unlocked. So this is our corn land over here, I guess you could say. Oh, you know what? I forgot to have this guy go do something else because these trees are drying out. They're not going to die, but they're going to be dry. So, if we ever want to have any more science, we're going to have to put somebody back in the inventor. But I feel like we still need logs. Remember, we only have 13 adult beavers. And I feel like we're in a situation now where things are stable enough to start growing our population a little bit. Remember, this is not apocalypse mode, it's just hard mode. So 160 water for the 3-day drought that's not alarm bells territory. So we can go ahead and put in 2 more lodges. We can start growing the population a little bit more, and hopefully not have things be too terribly bad. So we'll turbo speed through the rest of the night here. Let these guys do what they're going to do. And then I think we're going to want to get back into doing some more inventing. I know we removed those so we could get wood to get the dam here built, which I meant to talk about this at the beginning of the episode. 3 dams is not going to be enough. Someone gave me a number of the strength coming through here with all the stuff combined, and it was a lot bigger than I thought it was, and I don't remember what the exact number was, so I'm not going to say it. But it was enough for me to have a little bit of a here. I think we're going to need to, once it's no longer a drought, we're going to need to replace at least 2 of these with dams. And yes, we have other options. We have these flat-top floodgates that are pretty cool. But remember, we can't build those right now. So, sorry, we don't have 500 science. We don't have metal at all. And it's probably going to be a decent bit before we get to it, even though it is technically just right here and just right here. There's a lot of stuff we haven't unlocked yet, folks. And there's a lot of stuff that we're just going to have to wait for. But we can pluck the corn out of the ground now and just keep that on hand, ready to go whenever we have access to a grill, which is going to require 100 science to get the clay pit, which is not that far away. We do have somebody in here in the inventor, and as soon as we have that taken care of, then I am going to unlock that. And of course, we don't have 4 of the planks, so again, we have to wait. There's no way around it. But we can be prepared. We have our 100 science, so go ahead and unlock that. And then this area here is not going to be irrigated for a long time, but we don't need to box ourselves in. So I will go ahead and just find my spot here. Trying to think good ways to organize things. Yeah, clay pit there, and then we will need a kiln eventually to put in next to that thing, but that's a little ways off. We're just making the most out of the stuff we have access to. And, oh, you know what? We've got 2 beavers who aren't doing anything. Let's go ahead and get them in these lumberjack flags, get the rest of these pine trees cut down. And keep on keeping on. Doing what we can with what we have. Because now we have, oh yeah, look at this. Now we got 5 baby beavers all at once. But our total population can now be 26, which is, wait, is that actually right? Yeah, close enough. Should be. But that's going to help us out a lot. We've just been in such a deficit of actual labor that it's caused a lot of problems. Other things to consider. Actually, I should have had this taken care of. We need to go ahead and get these... Oh, you know what? I completely messed up not getting this one first, but not much else I can do about that. We need to get the rest of these blockages removed so that this flows a little bit better. And remember, we can put in water wheels at some point if we feel so inclined. This will end up flooding. Theoretically, it shouldn't. Theoretically. But, you know, it gives them something to do to get this out of here before it's too late to, you know, worry about it. So that's waiting on clay. This is waiting on planks to get the clay to build this. That's really going to help our food out a lot. And that's all done, so those guys can be relieved of their duties there, and instead come over here, because we've got some trees here that can get cut down, and these are going to be growing. And we have these oaks here, and yes, we do need to replant, but we're not worried about it quite yet. So we'll get through the last night of our drought here and see what awaits us in Cycle 4. Definitely in a situation where it's going to be an interesting problem to solve with the concentration of the bad water. We're going to probably want to keep our population relatively low for a while until we can source a little bit better water. But what I was going to say earlier is that if this isn't flooding, if we manage to, you know, keep this from coming this way, this is almost a ready-made irrigation reservoir. If we just kind of maybe section it off a little bit, we can just dump regular water in there and, you know, not be that far off. You know how it goes, though. Everything just takes time. Alright, so these trees have been cut appropriately. Pause those, because now we want to bring somebody into the lumber mill so we can make more planks, so we can make all this other fun stuff. And we need this water to be coming in post-haste. Remember that it does take about 2 days to get the clean water in from either side of the map. So it's got to make its own little perilous journey all the way around all this nonsense. Right, here we go. I'll take this off of turbo speed because sometimes the water physics act a little bit wonky. And that thing's turning. So there we go. Lumber mill back online. And remember that we are going to be... Actually, I'll just go ahead and cut that off there. Most of our log storage seems like it actually is in this lumberjack flag. But we do have 92 here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just right here on the very edge start putting in more dams. We want them to be able to build accordingly. So I think they can still... Ah, no, they can't reach that. Well, then I just need to remove one a little bit closer. There we go. Yeah, but now, so yeah, we got water coming in here. We have additional tanks, which is great. Now we got a bunch of beavers who are unemployed because I cut off this whole mess. So I will put them in... Wait, hold on. What is... Okay, that's a pile for planks. We probably should actually build that. So I was rationing wood, if you remember. Yeah, flow speed should increase here. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Yeah, make us some planks here so we can have our clay pit. Then that's going to have one of those guys working there. No problem, just as soon as the planks are available. Yeah. Yeah, so we want to avoid this with all of the bad water being shoved around in here. So as soon as that's in place, that should help kind of promote flow here, get our slightly cleaner, less concentrated bad water coming through this mess. All sorts of fun. All sorts of fun. Yeah, 3.5 days, 2 days, 1.7 days. It's just rough, man. But we got our clay pit, so now we have clay, which means very, very soon we're going to have a grill. We need to set that recipe to grilled corn, and that's going to solve a bunch of food problems. But yeah, fun stuff happening here is that this is basically just bypassing, and we have to have this set like this, or else it's just going to flood. So we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have to kind of incentivize water to come through here, or it's going to get really bad really quick. Again, though, not much that can be done. We just kind of have to experiment here, because we need the throughput. So this has to be like this. Although now that this still isn't flooding, I guess that probably solved that problem. We just unfortunately are not pushing very much water through here, and I don't know that it's really possible to fix that much. Unless I just go ahead and get rid of both of these blockages. I don't think that's really hindering anything. But, yeah, you know, we might want to think about something else, because these crops are all gonna be dying. Okay, that's the canola too. What a problem. What a problem. Well, at any rate, the corn is ready to be grilled. And as we currently don't have a kiln, I think we can safely pause the clay pit for now until we have something else to take care of here. Medical bed should be probably on our list in a little bit, but we don't have the science for it. So that is the problem that it is. I think, hopefully soon-ish, we'll get a little bit more clean water coming through here. But we might be a little cooked, folks. Might be a little cooked on water cleanliness, because this is not getting... Oh, is it? Is it actually getting better? Oh, okay, it is. All right. Oh, just in time for the canola to die. How annoying. Yeah, just when I thought all hope was lost, the beavers are going to pull through. Beaver believer. I need to make those shirts or whatever. I'm just hoping this doesn't overtop now, because the flow rate is going to be increasing. Well, it's probably all right. Enough of this has been saved that it's no longer a tremendously huge problem. All right, so like I said, remember, we have stuff that needs science. And, you know, all of that's just going to have to come in time. But, oh yes, this press, absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial that we get building on one of these. But remember, it takes science that we don't have. And not only that, it takes other buildings that we don't have that require more science. So we're 220 science away from having one of those presses. Plus all the time and everything that it takes to actually make the planks. So this right here, not having logs to turn into planks, is a little bit of a problem. And seeing how this isn't currently flooding, I am going to reconnect here so we can have access to these logs. And then that should help us out considerably. And poor beaver here is injured, but we can't do anything about it because that's it's just the way it goes, buddy. So I'm kind of tempted, instead of trying to get to the press, if I spend my 200 science like we talked about to get the small engine, now that we have the clay. Because that's going to be much more reliable during droughts, and also much more position flexible, so we can kind of decouple everything from over here. Which brings up another topic. Saw at least a couple of comments saying that we need to have our water pumps on the back side of the dam, because what we're doing is we're pumping good water out of this source bit. Now, I don't know that it's that big of a deal. I think probably the amount that we're pumping is not significant enough for it to matter in terms of the potency of bad water here. But fundamentally, that's still a thing that's happening. So if we have a choice where we put these water pumps, we probably should move them somewhere else. All in due time. All in due time. We'll get there. Right now, water has not been a tremendously huge issue. But, you know, it's hard mode. It's very possible day 4 we're going to get that drought or bad tide warning again. So we're going to be kind of up against the 8 ball, trying to make all this stuff work. This is where we run into some other fun problems, because remember, when a bad tide comes in, it's all bad water, which is going to kill all of our crops. So we can kind of combat that by having some crops and everything stored up someplace else. We can combat that by having different irrigation set up, which we do need to do. Or we can combat that by kind of doing what we had already done to a certain extent and putting in dams, levees, or floodgates in choke points so that we can close this off when we need to close it off. And I'm not opposed to just constantly building levees as semi-permanent insurance policies to protect the horseshoe while we still need it. That's probably going to be the best way to do things if we do get a bad tide here in Cycle 4. I don't remember what the default setting for hard mode is, whether that's going to be a thing that happens this early or if the handicap is still a thing. But without spending the science on stuff like the floodgates or sluices or whatever, I think that's going to be our safest bet, because, look, it's 12 logs. All I have to do is put 1 here, and then I put 2 here, and this thing's completely protected against bad water. Now, the land isn't, but the water in here would be protected. Well, to a certain extent. Just got to make that stuff happen. Contamination barrier, it's worth noting, is much more accessible and I guess a little bit better configured for this kind of playthrough than it would be with the Iron Teeth, because remember, it only lets the good irrigation in versus the Iron Teeth version, which completely shuts any liquid from getting through. So it's, well, irrigation barrier is what it's called. That's what the name implies. So that's my thought process on dealing with that stuff. And with the eventual goal of having enough clean water we can pump into a place like, say, right here, and it not be that big of a deal. And I'm pretty sure all of this water here is just left over from where this backed up, because this river wasn't flowing. But see, now that we've removed all this other, well, okay, not that one, but see how low this is? On day 3, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the peak flow here. Should be fine. Should actually be in a pretty decent spot. And I see one tree has grown up. We got a couple here. Still think it's worth trying to focus on getting stuff like the planks made, which currently is a very, very slow process. We don't have a hauling post, but we do have 10 planks, and I think it's about time that we start thinking about putting in something like this. So I will go ahead and do this here. Even if we just have one beaver doing it, we can kind of optimize things as we continue moving forward. And I'm not really that worried about the water being at 180 something right now. Now, if this is a bad tide, then yeah, we're going to be all hands on deck pumping and getting other things taken care of. But we want to make sure that we're aware of that. And yes, the automated water pump is going to be a fantastic investment, but again, it's 500 science and it's gears. We're not there yet. Regular water pump after the dam is going to be a smart idea, but I don't want to build it yet, because all of this is going to be completely going away. Part of the reason why this is here is so that we can pump during a drought or whatever from what we have going on here. It's all going to depend on what, or whether, I shouldn't even say what shows up on day 4, whether anything shows up on day 4. I just know that is the first day that it is possible for us to get a drought or a bad tide warning. So I guess we will see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put another beaver in the pumps, because it's just kind of dumb not to. We'll just let the process be what the process is going to be. We do have grilled corn. That's looking good. All right. Are we going to get anything? Going to get anything on day 4? No. Going to live to fight another day here. But we do need to get more water in. And I know that we need to get the different tanks and stuff unlocked. But I don't have the science. Don't have the science. And we don't have the ability yet to have any more of those guys. So here we go again. Going to put a couple more lodges in. Get our population up. and that's going to be the easiest way to solve some problems. Remember, it's not apocalypse mode. We're not in complete dire straits moments yet. Money for nothing, etc. I think... I mean, I don't know that it's going to be a tremendously helpful thing to have pumps over here. But we do need to have... That is kind of far away. We do need to have more pumps. Oh, wait, hold on. This is backing up now. It took until day 4 to do this? Really? Really? Okay. All right. We now have the unfortunate reality of having to remove this before everything floods. But I don't want to trap a beaver across the way. We leave no beavers behind. But if you take long enough, we might. Come on. You better. You better. Get out of here. All right. That's done. That's done. Yeah, just please do not surge me some bad water here. Please, I am begging you. There we go. There we go. Just don't spread. Just don't spread. Alright, in the interest of beaver safety, I will also remove that. I know it's going to cause a little bit of weird surging because of fluid dynamics, but that should... There we go. There we go. That should help considerably. We do still need to replace these with dams. Like, let's not forget. Let's not forget. So that is going to get replaced with a dam, and so is that bit. I think they can reach that one. They shouldn't be able to reach this one. Yeah, there we go. I don't want beavers getting stuck in the nasty water. All right, so that's done. Now I've got 6 open slots for beds. That's a thing. And we do have a hauling post, so I'm going to take this down to, say, 2 beavers. And I'm going to prioritize the lumber mill. And the pumps I'm not worried about because this is pretty close. It's not terrible. Now we're going to need additional tanks is what I was going to say something about before. I'm going to leave that open for the medium one once we unlock that. But for right now, 3 more of these here. Very, very smart thing for us to invest in. Just continue doing what we're doing. I think they should start doing that soon. I have 40 logs in place, so you know what? Let's think intelligently here. That needs to be a priority. That needs to be a priority so we can get back to these things. And hopefully they don't spend the rest of the logs super quickly on building this stuff. Hopefully that's not a thing. So I know this lodge took a bunch of those, but you know, that is something that we need, so that's okay. That's okay. Up to 200 some water. Food is steadily climbing as well. Don't have storage for grilled corn yet, which, you know, I probably should build one, but wow, we didn't get a drought or a bad tide warning. All right, cool. So, you know, we're living the life, high rollers here. Doing what we can. And this is dry. This is dry. But again, I don't have the science for a fluid dump yet. I know, because I know there's already somebody typing a comment about this. Look, I don't have the beavers. Well, I guess technically now I do, but I didn't have the beavers to have everybody running inventor huts. That's just not how this works. But we will. Now that we have additional slots for beavers, we can make that happen. We just need to make it something that is not going to take away from everything else. It is very easy for that to become a thing. But it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. No, that's an industrial pile. I don't want that one. This, I guess I could make this further away one. Corn storage, and then since this is just about empty, I can make this into grilled corn storage. In theory. Well, eventually this will sort itself out once everything else is built. Alright, so that's in place. And this will be in place just as soon as I hook this path back up. If we end up seeing some surging again, then of course we will have to put in other stuff here. But I'm pretty sure 6 dams should be enough. A couple of you in the comments seemed to agree that that might be the case. Alright, I got 2 extra beavers instead of, yeah, I'm gonna get them cutting down these trees here until we have this, have access back to stuff again. And, you know, I don't remember who it was, but somebody did make a comment about how we need a campfire because these are the fire beavers. And you would be correct, so I'm going to put one of those right there. That'll get our well-being up a little bit, because remember, fire is a fundamental need, and it also helps the kits grow up just a little bit faster. That's going to be an easy thing for us to take care of. Let's just go ahead and prioritize that a little bit. And yeah, see, our water storage is getting full. It's not completely full yet, but it is getting full. We're going to want to continue building that as we keep going along here. So, easy thing to do. Just put in a couple more of these. And when we have the ability, and it's going to make sense to build medium tanks, we'll do that. Early game, these are totally fine. Remember, this is not apocalypse mode, so we do get 75% of the materials back when we get rid of these. So, no need to worry about that. And I guess we just kind of let these guys keep doing what they're doing. Because not too much else we can do until things get the rest of the way figured out. Yeah, I think part of the problem was we started running out of logs to build the dam to get back across to where the trees were. So I know you guys absolutely love when that happens. I don't think yeah, these are gonna have to get paused. And unpause these guys so they can get at the birches over here. And I guess we do have a couple of here that we could get cut down. Ah, yes. Bad tide approaching. How exciting. This is a fun opportunity for us here in episode 3. Oh, and we're only 37 minutes into recording, so you know this is actually going to be like the full duration of the bad tide in the video. Wait, in hard mode, isn't the first bad tide only like 1 day? So that's like kind of a nothing burger. I don't know. I say that now. Watch there just be incomprehensible savage destruction as a result of this. But yeah, we really need to get, there we go, campfires in place. I've got, wow, they cut those trees down fast. Get those paused. We've got 8. We have almost half of the beaver population is children right now. Which is not great for death wave implications later. But over time, it's going to even out. Hopefully. A little bit. But remember what I was saying at the top of the episode about our emergency bad tide containment strategy? Even if it is only 1 day. I don't know. Because 1 day worth of bad tide, remember, is still going to be a lot of bad water that's going to have to go through the whole system and be flushed out. Like, this is an absolutely incredible amount of force coming through here water-wise. It's like plus 20 or something. So even if it's just 1 day, that's a lot of volume of bad water that's going to have to be dealt with. So, seeing how this is currently set up, I am going to just not even put dams. I'm just going to put straight up levees in this thing, because it's going to be more important to have access to this as 40% contamination versus 100%, because if we kill the crops with contamination, that's bad news. Very bad news. So hopefully they just, oh, well, I'm going to have to prioritize it anyway. They'll take care of that. It is technically after hours, which, unfortunate. But food and water-wise, for, you know, the first bad tide most likely being very short, we're in very good shape. Just going to have to make an effort to get this dammed up, levied up, whatever you want to call it, before it's too late. So that's looking okay. We got a couple trees there. This isn't flooding, so I think we might have finally solved this issue here. And I have 33 planks. Oh, the planks are full. Planks are full. The tank is clean. It's completely unnecessary reference. So I am going to put a forester over here on a tile that is not currently irrigated. That's something we can work on over time here. And I do want to have a path that we can actually use to get to different areas here. So I will go ahead and put a little bit of this in, just so we have access and we're not blocked in later. But this will be planted with other fun stuff. You know, honestly, yeah, well, bad tide, ooh, you know what? Bad tide might actually kill all these trees, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we do want to keep that in mind. I'm less worried about it killing outright all of these trees, but remember that we do have apple trees we'd like to plant at some point. So those might need to wait until we have a fluid dump and we can take care of irrigating another area like this. So that's in place. That's looking fine. This is done. We just have to put in another 12 logs here. Not worried about that being a thing. So that's good news. That's very good news. The rest of this, we got water. We got a couple more of these we can build. All in due time. We just want to make sure that we're going to be in okay shape. So by the end of the bad tide, when all these trees are dead, this guy will be ready to go, hopefully, to replant some stuff. And we're going to have to consider what we're going to be doing moving forward here. But we have made some really good... Wow, that got filled up quick. Really good enhancements on what we're doing here. I think we might be able to get by with just making this into grilled corn storage once it actually, you know, gets built. If we can have corn here and corn here, we have a total of 80 storage for regular corn. And again, this isn't something that's going to take a ton of time to grill up, so I'd rather have the capacity of the actual edible food whenever we get there. Just making progress. Making a slow progress, but progress nonetheless. And that's done. So our area here is now bad tide proofed, quote unquote, which doesn't really need to be a quote unquote because it's actually factually correct. And it can't get worse than this. So, well, at least in this context it can't. That's fine. And since it's a bad tide, this will continue turning. Look at this, it's 226 HP. That's impressive. That's good numbers. So we want to take advantage of that. We want to put in some more piles over here. That's just going to be good business to do that. So we'll build those two, and we can continue expanding this. I don't have the science to make a gear workshop yet, but I think we are going to want another lumber mill. For the sake of future powering stuff, I am going to flip this one and then attach like so, so that when I put another one, not going to do it yet, but say I put another one here, then I can have another building come out this way. Like maybe a press. But we have to have gears first. It's all a process. All a process. Always is. So these trees continuing to grow. We do have some that we can cut down for quote-unquote emergency wood at some point later. And, oh, we need to have storage for we need storage for so many things. But I do have these inventors kind of prioritized a little bit as well. We're doing it. We're doing the thing. Just slowly. Yeah, see, we've got our fire need. It's going to be a +1 by the time everybody has access to it. But you know what? Every little bit helps. And the rest of this stuff is just going to have to be something we get to over time. But it's going to end up being fine. Not really worried about it. There we go. Well-being of 9. That's a good benefit because remember at 7 they get a bonus. I believe that's a working efficiency bonus. Let's find a random beaver and click on them. Well, when they're awake. Alright. Yeah, well-being of 8, so that's a +10% at 5 well-being, +5% movement speed at 2 well-being. Ah, so life expectancy is on the 7s. Okay. Well, that's fine. Still making some nice progress here. Really would like for them to build these small tanks as well, but I know there's a little bit going on with the whole harvesting wood thing. Which, you know, eventually, going to make some nice progress on that. This is going to be a good space for another grill, or maybe a kiln or something once we get to that point. But, you know, just doing what we can. I think focusing mostly on corn is a smart choice as we continue taking care of some other stuff. But, you know, it's always good to have access to these other things. Never a mistake. And is that our water completely full? Almost. All right, well, I mean, we're not going to be using them for a little bit of time anyway, so that's fine. We'll just go ahead and get these marked for water. Going to leave this unpopulated and that unpopulated so we can put a couple more industrial piles here when we get there. So I'm going to prioritize these water tanks. And maybe just super prioritize those two. Remember that it will take maybe a day before all of the clean water is fully eradicated from the stream. And even if the bad tide's only one day, remember, it's still a huge volume and it's going to take time to get pushed through. So it's always worth preparing. All we can do now is wait. That's about all there is. So how long is this first bad tide going to be? At least one day? Oh, it's hard mode. That's right. It's 9 days. Of course it's 9 days. Well, that is certainly not what I was expecting. I don't know why. I didn't expect it. It's hard mode. Oh, man. Oh, I love it when this happens. No, I don't. Well, it's going to make for good content anyway, so everybody wins. All right. I was almost entirely certain that this was not the case, but somebody left a comment, so now I'm going to have to throw out 900 hours of Timberborn knowledge. I'm like 99.999999999, like insert the 3 hours later, 99999% sure that it does not increase flow during a bad tide. But somebody brought it up, and now my brain is lying to me, so we'll just have to watch and see if there's any surging that's going to threaten to overtop our dams here. Again, I'm basically completely sure that's not a thing, but congratulations and thank you on introducing that seed of doubt into my ailing brains. We'll just keep on doing the thing here. Try to build these tanks before all of the completely clean water goes away. That's going to be a thing. 9 days is going to also be enough to kill these berry bushes, or a lot of them. So yeah, we're going to want to make sure we harvest, even though we're not really using them for anything right now because we are breeding with the folktail strategy. We're going to want to make sure that we get as many berries as we can while we can. And it's almost certainly going to kill every single one of those trees, so that's a problem. All right. In the interest of getting these guys taken care of as best as we can, I'm going to prioritize the water pumps by haulers. I don't have any more use for planks, so let's pause that. And yeah, get these things just as conveniently as possible emptied out. Get these tanks actually constructed, now that these are substantially more important than they would have been otherwise. And yeah, because we got another 9 days, 8.5 days of bad tide, plus the next like day and a half, 2 days of the temperate cycle before we get any more clean water in here. Please also note that yes, we do have our emergency pump here. That is still here because if we need it, we can use it if we have to keep the beavers alive. But I think it's going to be all right. I think we're going to be fine. We just need to, you know, be a little bit more careful about what we're doing. Just, you know, use basic common sense, which isn't necessarily that common anymore, but yeah, whatever. Let's get this beaver out of this forester before it's too late. Use them doing something much more useful, like building additional small tanks here. So I am going to go ahead and just because we can... Actually, hold on. Is that... Oh, okay, that was almost a hilarious and also tragic mistake. I could put another water pump here if we felt so inclined. probably would not be a bad choice for future investment anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that, but I will prioritize building storage. Oh, actually, no, I have total 510 storage. Let's prioritize building this bad boy. And then those can be slightly less prioritized. Yeah, if we can just... any amount of pumping that we can do before this becomes just completely unpumpable, maybe within the next day and a half, is definitely something we should be looking into doing. And let's see. Oh, see, they're not even prioritizing the harvesting of corn, but yeah, I guess I shouldn't be picky. We have so many other storages we need to have that I just haven't really been prioritizing for whatever reason. It's just, you know, it makes sense to think carefully about what you're doing, which I know there's at least a couple of you absolutely laughing your butts off at the computer right now because, well, when do I ever think carefully about anything? That's fine. We do probably need to have an actual raw corn storage. All right, so these bushes are... oh, they're all super dead. They're super dead. And it's killing some of the corn too, but that means that guy can be paused. Yeah, oh, that killed these trees so quick, dude. Oh, but this corn's good. That's good to see. Kind of an unavoidable thing here. Now, are we actually still pumping anything at all? Yeah, you know, kind of. Kind of. My optimism is waning rapidly, though. Rapidly. Did I mention how quickly my optimism is waning yet? Let's get these guys in. There we go. 4 beavers in the hauling post as we get more adults. Yeah, we're gonna see in the morning here on day 11 whether or not these are actually worth keeping open. But given the fact that we only have 300 some water here, we might be we might be turning on the emergency pump toward the end of this bad tide. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, okay. Those trees are all dead. This is absolutely completely forsaken. What fun. What fun. Okay. Well, no point in having it be slow. It's not going to solve any problems. Alright, bored nerd, you are randomly selected to have us watch you try to pump and get blood out of a stone. Hey, well, the number's going up. Barely. Oh, that's all that time just to get 1 unit of water? Yeah, this is definitely not going to be worth our time. Definitely not going to be worth our time. But I am curious to see if this ever goes any higher. That was at 93. 18, 7%, you'd forget it. It's over. You too, it's over. But 94. 94. No, it's done. All right. So, no more pumping. No more pumping, kids. And no more trees, because they're all dead. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're already down to 281 water, because somebody had to have a bunch of beavers. Well, what a great opportunity for us to focus on science. What a fantastic opportunity for us to focus on science. But I also need to still have logs. So, yeah. Wow, this is already 54 minutes. That's good. Okay. Let's just clear house real quick on all these dead trees and the stumps and all that. So, I actually don't need to have that guy doing that. Is there any full-grown tree over here? Got a couple this way, but... yeah, none of the rest of this is going to be viable. That can reach all of that there. I'm not going to be using the clay pit because that's going to consume water. This is now completely pointless because all of the berry bushes are dead. Good thing we do have berries, even though I don't think we're going to need them. No, there's no recipe in the bakery that uses berries. No gristmill. I think there's... no, there's not even berry juice. So unless we wanted to use phoenix pods, at some point down the line, or I believe... No, there's not even a fuel that uses it. Wow. Wowee. Okay, so that's not a problem. No longer an issue. Now it's just the water. No, it is just the water that's the issue. So, yeah, I want to build more of these inventors, but I can't really justify using the wood when there's not that much wood left. However, we do have a need to get gears going. We do have a need to get the presses going, which, don't forget, most of these recipes in the presses don't use water at all. So all is not lost. We just have to have, well, again, we have to have gears to make the press. So I think, I've gone back and forth like a bunch of times this episode, both talking and in my head, talking to myself about what we're going to do. But I do think that's going to make the most sense. Let's get our gear workshop unlocked. Because remember, we're still making tons of power. 223. And I don't have a ton of logs. I don't have a ton of logs. I don't have a ton of planks. But if I can make 20 gears, which is 20 planks, will turn into 20 gears, then I need to make another 20 planks, and I need to have 20 logs. If I can do that just once, then we'll have a press that we can rotate between different ingredients to make, to make juices from. And currently I have radishes, I've got beets, so I can make radish and beet juice, I can make tomato juice. I don't have any apples, so I can't make apple juice. But if we're really desperate, we could make corn juice. I think the power play here is going to be the beet and the radish juice, because beets are not an edible food by themselves. Radishes are, and so are tomatoes. But the recipe, if you take a look at this, the recipe is 2 tomatoes in 1 hour makes 3 tomato juice, or they can just eat the tomatoes raw. So I guess technically you're getting more units out of it, but since the beets are not edible by themselves, and I got 200 of them, and it's 1 and 1 makes 5, that seems like the absolute power play there. So I am going to go ahead and unlock this, because we do have the science for that. And remember how I said before this was going to be a specifically smart thing for us to do. I know it's not the best layout for efficiency in terms of transporting materials, but for right now, this is fine. Just go ahead. I'll put a press there. And then, instead of me having a whole bunch of other barrels built that we're not going to use, I'm just going to have this one set to be beet and radish juice, just right off the bat. And that is going to end up being fine. So, the gear workshop is now complete. We got Tyler in there, working with no planks, because I forgot this actually costs planks to build. So, now the fun begins. 1 log becomes 1 plank. To build this, I need... Oh, we already have some of the planks in there. Good. So I need 12 planks, and I need 20 gears, which means I need 32 planks total to do this. Which is 32 logs, which we have more than... Well, at the time I started that sentence, we had more than 120 logs. I think the math is still in our favor. These trees are all completely gone, so those jobs are as well. Sorry about you. Those are all gone. So these are gone as well. These are all still paused. I do have a couple of emergency trees, I guess, there. And, yeah, now we got 5 beavers with nothing to do, which means, congratulations, you work in the hauling post now. Enjoy hauling. We do still have a couple of oak trees here. We're not going to bother even trying to replant, not that it would let us anyway, until after this bad tide is done. We do, notably, have a little bit of range on this side of the river to replant berry bushes if we felt like it. I don't think we need to worry about it. Not for quite some time, especially because these are just basically emergency food. And, yeah, I mean, oaks are going to make the most sense long-term. But I kind of feel like I don't want to commit to those because of the whole they can be killed in a bad tide instantly thing until we have actual clean irrigation set up. So I think we're going to want to go As much as I hate to say it, we're going to want to go with pines. Or possibly birches. I just hate to have that inefficient of a tile setup. Oh, and this all really needs to be farming stuff. Man. There's so much to think about. There's just a lot of stuff that needs to go exactly right or bad things happen. Well, the next unlock probably needs to be a fluid dump. And then we can hopefully set something up. This is a really wide area to have irrigated with a fluid dump. I don't think we're going to want to use that entire thing. So we could go ahead and make ourselves a 3x3 area out of this. If we wanted to have a bunch of irrigation here, it doesn't have to be 3x3. It doesn't have to be whatever. That's just the best, most efficient layout that I've found, and a lot of people think is the right thing to do there. We could also just build it up above. Like, I think I talked about this in the Apocalypse playthrough, but you can just, you know, build up on top of this. It'll still work, but then you have to have stairs, which we haven't unlocked yet, because I'd rather use the science for other stuff, so long as we don't desperately need to have stairs. So hopefully you can appreciate that. Alright, we need 11 planks and 20 gears. Turbo through here. We still have 5 days left in the drought. Water hasn't gone down as fast as I thought it was, which is a little bit of a relief. But remember, we started this bad tide with like 350 water, and now we're down to 200. So almost half gone in 4 days. Little bit scary. Just a touch. Just a touch. The press will help massively with that. Just gonna take some time. So, you know what? I've got extra beavers. We'll just turn both lumber mills on. There's no reason not to have that going. Just let them do what they're gonna do. And hopefully we don't run out of water before we start making some juice. Okay, and these guys are saying they can't reach anything. Oh! Okay, well, if that's the case, then pause away and put a couple of those in there. Get those last couple trees, and it's going to be all she wrote on wood for a while, folks. All she wrote. See, this is why I've been attempting to avoid building too much too quickly. Obviously, there's other reasons why you don't do that. But I do not want to soft lock myself. I know there's some wood down here that's way far away. If we're truly desperate, we can go down there, but for the time being, it's all about the juice. All about the juice. Just need 13 more gears. And the science does continue to pile up. If we have enough left over in the way of logs, then I probably will build a few more of those science huts. Wish I could unlock some more well-being things too, but it's all about getting to that blessed pure irrigation as fast as we can. Of course, this does absolutely nothing now, as we kind of expected. But I do want to get stairs going soon, because I feel like we're going to want to climb for too long. Or we could just say, you know what, forget the stairs and go straight for ladders. But that's going to be, well, when you consider the platforms, it's actually going to be more efficient to build the ladders anyway, because think about it, stairs are 4 planks, 1 log, ladders are 6 planks and 4 logs. But to advance a staircase, assuming you're having to build platform for it, then you're going to be using at least 4 of those planks anyway, so all just takes time. Alright, did they finally clear out all of these things? Yep, they sure did. Alright, kiddos. Gloves are off now. 5 more gears, which just gonna have to be a thing. We got 2.5 days left. I got 58 water. It's all gonna come down to the beet and radish juice. I hope you like beets and radishes, because that's what you're gonna be drinking for the next couple days. I do love this mod, though, exactly for that reason. I kind of want to, honestly, do an apocalypse mode playthrough with these guys. Because they can drink other stuff. I think that would be a very, very helpful thing to have access to when the going gets super tough. And I kind of feel like I want to turn on that emergency pump. I'm going to try not to. Going to try my best not to have to worry about it. But you know as well as I do, best laid plans go to waste. Especially if you aren't thinking about everything exactly the way you're supposed to be. Because guess what? We're out of water. Okay, we have 2. We have 1. Hey, it's almost ready. Almost ready. Just get that set to beaten radish juice. We're getting real close. Getting real close. There it is. William Laguna, the savior of the beavers. We are out of water, but we're not out of options. Let's prioritize that real quick. Do I have this completely filled up? No, I can put a 10th beaver in there. What do I need with 10 haulers and a colony of 29 beavers? Nothing. It just gives them something to do. Get everything all situated here. Oh, I could prioritize the farmhouse. That's embarrassing that wasn't done, right? Oh, yes. Harvest your radishes, harvest your beets. Make your dreams come true. We probably need to harvest. We need to plant more beets if we're going to be that dependent on them. But I don't really have that many more spaces to do that in. I guess once this is a little more full, then that will be plantable. Long term, though, I think we are going to need more beets. I will unplant this row of corn. So we can do that, and I will unplant this row of canola, because right now that's not a huge priority. And it's not as crucial of a need as it is in the iron teeth, because you can make juice out of a whole bunch of different stuff. Why is this only at 83? Oh, because these are both still running. Turn that off. There we go. There we go. 100% power to the juice. So you will see the beaten radish juice show up under food, but not under water. Wait a second. So does that mean I'm wrong? And that they're going to still be thirsty? I guess we're going to have to keep that monitored. I was under the impression that it would quench their thirst as well. Yeah, it just does, but it's not here. Okay. All right, well that's better than a kick in the pants. Is there any other jobs that can justify them doing? So I've got the... Yeah, all right. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to go ahead and put in more inventor huts. If nothing else, nice to have them later. But we need to have the beavers have something to do. That's going to be the best possible option for us here. Get through the last night here. Well-being of 10. Love to see it. They're getting that bonus from the juice. They're thirsty, and then they're not thirsty, but they're definitely still thirsty. All right, come on. We need more juice. I can't build another one of these things, but we need more juice. How far off am I from building it? Okay, no. No, I need to have 20 gears. Need to have 20 gears. Go ahead and pause that lumber mill though, so we don't use any more logs. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together, even when it's just an absolute abomination of nonsense. Oh, we have so much to do when this cycle changes, and this episode's already pretty long for an episode 3. Normally don't pull out the longer than an hour episodes until we're like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 through. But this is a fun playthrough, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I'm trying very hard for this not to turn into apocalypse mode playthrough 2.0, where everything just crawls incredibly slowly and I spend a bunch of time talking about stuff instead of doing it. But it's cycle 5. Cycle 5, day 1, and they're complaining about being thirsty. But the science says that they have options. So, wait for William here to decide to go to work and make that work. Because that's definitely how that goes. Alright, I was planting more beets here, but I don't really have the space for it yet. Alright, so it's still going to be a little bit of time before we have clean water come through here. So why don't we go ahead and do our end of episode stuff now? And look at that, we got all the beavers working in the science hut, so we should have some pretty nice science here in a little bit. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video, giving me your feedback, constructive criticism, always welcome. And just the fun that we get to have with this is great. So thank you very much for supporting the video, supporting the channel, supporting the series, etc. Beard Boosters directly funding the nonsense and making it possible for us to have all sorts of shenanigans here. Really, really appreciate everybody who contributes and makes these things possible. It truly cannot be done without you. All that being said, end of day 1. We've got some green coming back, so we're going to take that out of that turbo mode. We're going to start getting ready because we gotta plant like nobody's business. And I think day 1, let's take a gamble here. Let's take a gamble on the pines, and hopefully that's going to have an actual chance of succeeding here. Because, remember, it's only a 40% chance in the basic settings for hard mode that you are going to get a bad tide. So, the odds are in our favor. Kind of. So, even just planting the trees is going to be a good thing for Tyler here to do. And this looks like it's got a little bit of cleanliness. We don't have a stream gauge in here, and that was something somebody left a comment asking why I don't use it. I just don't use them. But I'm going to turn these water pumps back on, take these guys out of the hauling post. We really probably only need 3 or 4. We'll go down to 3. Hopefully that will help solve that stuff. And, oh, we're out of gears. Well, guess what? Guess what? I'm going to build another press. And we're going to make more beet and radish juice. This is basically all we can do anyway. Oh, very cool. Wait, there's not a recipe for berry juice, is there? And I'm just stupid? No, okay. Good, good, good. So, as we enter day 2 of cycle 5, we're going to have to start saying goodbye, folks. And I think I can be justified in removing these levees. And we'll let this get re-irrigated. So there you go. Hopefully there's no extreme flooding that happens like it might actually do, but we got something to work with. We've got something to work with. Oh, and it's a little more something than I cared to mess with. No, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. No, it's flooding. It's flooding. Okay, now it's not flooding. We're good. Oh, that's going to be it for today's episode, folks. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. I can't wait to get back to this. This is such a fun series. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.